Well, hello, everyone. This is Rachel Carl, and welcome to the 8th session of the 6-week Reclaim Your Life, How to Get Off and Stay Off Illegal and Legal Drugs and Alcohol teleclass series. Tonight is going to be Food for Humans, a food plan to support clinical detoxification and enjoying good food. What we're going to be covering tonight in Module 8 is how to tell what's in your food, adulteration of organic labels. Not all labels are truly organic. Dispelling the myth that organic meat and produce is really more expensive. It's not. Why unfermented soy is so bad for you. Why your body is gaining weight to protect you, and how you can reverse that. Also, we're going to go over the Food for Humans recipe book and how to green your kitchen. And once again, I want to remind you that you will have a chance to get your questions answered on this call. Please go ahead and submit your questions if you're listening live from your computer. You'll see the little box on the left-hand side of your screen that says Submit Your Question for the event here. So go ahead and submit your questions there right now, and we're going to try to get to all of them at the end of each call. We don't always have time for that, so you can always email us at findpeace@shangri-la-biospa.com. And, of course, if you're listening to the CDs at home, you can email us your questions anytime at the same email address, findpeace@shangri-la-biospa.com. You know, we've got a lot to cover tonight. I just want to briefly go over who our guest of honor is. Most of you know who she is by now. She's Genita M. She's a Human Rights Award winner, a nutritional biochemist, an author, and licensed healthcare practitioner. And she's also the medical director of the Biosanctuary Addiction Recovery and Green Mental Health Care Center. I'm talking about Genita M. And she's really a human rights activist, a real humanitarian. She wants to make green mental health care accessible to everyone, which is exactly why she's created programs just like the one you're listening to right now. So without further ado, I want to welcome our guest, Genita M. Welcome, Genita.
Rachel, thank you so much. Once again, a brilliant introduction on a fabulous subject. And as usual, we're now, I believe, in Module 8 of the series. So, you know, I'm going to skip ahead of all my background. But again, you know, if you want to get my background in more detail, go to the first module, the intro module of the series, and you'll get more on me. But you can also go to Biosanctuary.com and find out more about our clinic and about the Green Mental Health Care Medical Model and about everything that we're up to, because we're doing a lot these days. I'm actually doing a lot of lecturing to allopathic doctors that are very interested in the Green Mental Health Care Medical Model and testing for physical underlying causes of mental health issues. And that's really big on my agenda right now. I'm very, very passionate about guiding people away from psychiatry and to their regular, into their doctor, their family doctor, because they do have the tools. They do have the diagnostics. All they need is the guidance and to remember, because, see, the pharmaceutical companies took the standards of care away from real medical doctors, and those would be allopathic real medical doctors, and handed it, you know, with the drugs that go along with that model, their drugs, their products, to psychiatrists. But your regular physician does have the tools to test for and the training to help treat you. You want to be treated as holistically as possible, of course, so maybe not always the right training, but if you get to an integrative physician, you will get the best of both worlds. You will get the testing, such as we do at the clinic, and the holistic care when they find the problem. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. That's what this year and probably next year is dedicated to, porting out, you know, this medical model every chance I get, lecturing to doctors. And but anyway, I'm going to get back to tonight's subject. I'm hot on this because I'm here at the clinic in just outside Malibu now, and I've just got an overwhelming response when we got back from Costa Rica with the integrative physician sector here, and they're just very passionate about what I'm passionate about, and I'm very, very excited about being back in the States and getting this information out to them and working with them. Actually, we have a group now I'm going to be announcing soon that we'll be working with, and I'm very excited about all this, and this all was kind of coming to fruition today, so it's still on my mind, and I'm sharing it. Anyway, this is the Green Body and Mind, Green Mental Health and Addiction Recovery teleclass series, Staying Sane in a Toxic World. I'm going to skip past my endorsements and my background and all that. You can get that, like I said, on the on the first the module, or actually just go to the Biosanctuary.com website, and everything's right there, the whole team and all. This is green mental health care. Everything that I teach and what we do at the clinic is all about green, non-toxic, non-addictive, and non-invasive mental health care, looking for the physical causes and also those toxicants in your environment and diet that's breaking the body down and causing problems and causing mental health issues. But it is medicine. Never forget that this is aligned with nature and supported by science. This is a science-based medical model. Just because it's holistic, don't think for a second that it is not based and entrenched in science. The fundamental core value of this medical model is science and to be aligned with nature, and you can get both. And we've been demonstrating that every year now every day now at the clinic and with my outpatients. So today's seminar is Food for Humans, a food plan to support clinical detoxification and enjoying good food. And the reason why I'm really excited about this evening's series, because this evening's module, because being in practice for as long as I have and working with people in an outpatient capacity where I work with them, no matter where they are all over the world, and, they can get to the labs, they can take their supplements when they're told to, they can, do everything, but the diet always seems to be the obstacle. People have really lost the ability, the healthy relationship with food, meaning the ability to prepare, know how to use herbs, know how to prepare food properly for both the eye and the palate, and really have a good time with it. When I was raising my daughter, I worked full-time. I was also studying for my exams to get my license to practice, and there was times when I was working many, many hours, but I tell you what, I looked forward. It was the marker of the end of my day. When I got to my kitchen and I pulled out my chopping block and I pulled out all my veggies and everything, because every meal, every dinner had a beautiful, colorful salad, my daughter would call them. I get all those veggies out, and I'd smell them, and they're pretty, and they're colorful, and it really and my daughter would be sitting at the table doing her homework, and we'd talk, and I get home from work, and that was it. That was the period. The work day was over. It's time for family time, not time to be in front of the TV, not time for people to be running around. It's time to sit down and spend some time in the kitchen and interface with your family and enjoy a good, healthy relationship with food. And so, I have wonderful memories. In fact, I'll never get rid of the table, our kitchen table that I've had since my daughter was in kindergarten. She's now 21. That's where most of the memories are in my home. Was around the dinner table. Well, actually, we had breakfast and lunch there too. So anyway, it's really, eating well is about creating a healthy relationship with food. Don't look at it as a chore. It is. You have to take control of your health. And to do that, the first and foremost thing you have to do is take control of your diet. Restaurants are not going to prepare food properly for you. They use the cheapest, most of them, of course, especially conventional ones. And I'm not even talking about just your fast food places. I'm talking about restaurants, regular, nice, even high-end restaurants. They still use the cheapest produce they can get. You don't see what it looks like coming in because they get to steam it or cook it or put it in a soup. You don't see what it looks like. Everyone's trying to, to cut corners and save. And when you're talking about restaurants, we're talking about, of course, conventional food, unless you're eating at an organic restaurant. And how many people have, access to that? And actually, that can get expensive. So the first and foremost thing that you want to take control of is your food. That's the first thing that you need to do to take and be in charge, in the driver's seat of your health. In fact, you have to really take this to heart, because it is, the premise of my whole medical model is that it is the toxic diet and environment that we have been subjected to over the last 100, 150 years that is producing the epidemic mental health issues that we have today. We didn't have these problems 150 years ago. We didn't have kids bouncing off the walls like they are. We didn't have the ADD, ADHD. We didn't have these phenomenons, and these epidemic mental health issues. And my statement, and I will say it forever, is that it is the toxic diet and processed foods and chemicals in them, combined with but first and foremost, and then combined with the toxic environment that's breaking the body down, thus causing the mental health issues that many are suffering today. So the first thing that we need to do to take the best first step is to change the diet, okay? And that's what you're going to get a whole lot of information on about tonight, all right? Every one of you that have purchased this teleclass series should have the Food for Humans recipe book, and that is the recipe book that we use, the recipes that we use at the Biosanctuary, including the juices, how to green your kitchen. It's a broad stroke approach. You know, you're more than welcome to get more detailed information per your kitchen, your environment, where you live. In fact, that's another big, huge piece of news that I have to share with everyone is just last week, Deborah Lynn Dad, who was coined by the Times, New York Times, as the Queen of Green, who has like 4 or more books out. This woman for 30 years has been promoting and educating people about non-toxic living, and she has accepted to come on the team, on the Biosanctuary's team, as both the in and outpatient green living consultant for green body and mind. So we couldn't be more happy. She is the best in the business. This woman knows her stuff. When I research green processes, greening my home, greening the environment, greening my lawn, I go to her website, okay? This woman holds the flame, the green flame. She knows what she's talking about. So anyway, she's actually going to be providing the last module in this series, the 12th module, and she's going to go more in detail, but tonight I will go over some broad strokes so you can get, it figured out what, needs to be changed, the broad strokes, what needs to be changed in your kitchen. And then, if you're ever an in or out patient of ours, or you can actually contact her directly and get private consultations with her. If you're not a patient of ours, you're more than welcome. I encourage you to contact her directly. I will provide that information because I don't have her email address right off the top of my head right now. But you can look up Queen of Green, Deborah Lynn Dad, if you want to get started right away and contact her. And she does do private consulting on a per minute, over the phone on a per minute. So you can only go as far as you can afford or want to go. So. Anyway, I'm going to get started on the Food for Humans, a food plan to support clinical detoxification and enjoying good food. We are going to be covering, let's get to the next slide here, PLUs, product labels on food. Those irritating little sticky labels on apples? Well, those are called PLU stickers. And they actually tell a lot about what the food item is, what the produce item is. I'll be going through that. Adulteration of organic labels. Not all labels are truly organic, okay? That's very important for everyone to know. It's very, very sad, that the USDA label is not truly, it doesn't have to be 100% truly organic. So, I'm going to give you some guidance on how to make sure that your food is 100% organic. Is organic meat and produce diet really more expensive? Of course not. I'm going to go through that with you and show you how and why. Why unfermented soy is so bad for you. Your body is gaining weight to protect you. That's a very interesting one. And this is actually listed twice. I'll have to fix that before we send out the CDs to everybody. The Food for Humans recipe book. And like I said, you've purchased this teleseminar series, so you should have that. I'm going to be going through it very quickly with you just to introduce you to it and help you navigate through it and whatnot, and introduce the various sections of the book, and how to green your kitchen. Of course, the broad strokes. You're more than welcome to contact Deborah Lynn Dad. That's DADD. If you want to go deeper than we're going this evening, or you might want to wait until the 12th one and see where she takes you into deeper details. So PLUs. How to tell what's in your food. And this is specifically for produce, okay, those stickers on your produce, all right? Organic produce has a 5-digit PLU number that begins with the number 9, all right? So that's, that it's organic, and we'll go into what organic means to the USDA. It doesn't mean the same to the USDA that it means to me, but I'll go into, how to ensure your food is 100% organic and be more of a purist like I am. Conventional pesticides produce has a 4-digit PLU number that begins with the number 4. So, and by the way, conventional produce can be GMO, and they do not have to label it such. In fact, there is a PLU number, and that is those starting with 8. Genetically modified produce has a 5-digit PLU number that begins with the number 8. But you know what? Initially they thought the whole GMO thing was going to take off. The way, they spent tons of money in advertising it and promoting it and blessing it with scientists, sales science and doctors and this and that, and they got all their front people and this and that. You know what? People don't want to eat it. They found out that when people know that it's GMO, they don't want to buy it. They don't want to eat it. The majority of people, over 80%, it depends if it's meat, this and that, but like up to 87, 90% of people, if they know it's GMO, they won't eat it. So guess what? They actually went to Congress and got and reserved the right to not have to label meat and produce or any food as a GMO product, which is very, very sad because, this stuff is Pandora's box. It is the Pandora's box of our unfortunate situation with the polluting of the planet today. Many reasons why, but the GMO foods have been linked to many, many illnesses, birth defects. It's not what it's been cracked up to be. And it just makes common sense. You shouldn't mess with Mother Nature. And we don't know what kind of Pandora's box we're in just yet. We're getting signs and signals, and, there's been clinical and scientific data produced, but it's only going to get worse and worse and bigger as time goes on, and it's proliferated throughout, the U.S. mostly, by the way. 90% of the European Union has outlawed, banned GMO because of its very, very risky and now being proven more and more to be unhealthy nature and being linked to many, many disorders. And it only makes sense. The stuff is genetically modified. You're eating a food product that is entirely unfamiliar to your body. So anyway, now please remember that conventional produce, which begins with a 4-digit PLU number that starts with the number 4, can be genetically modified. So you get pesticides and GMO product in there. It can be. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is, but it can be. All right. GMO modified produce has a 5-digit, but you know what? I can't even find a product that starts with 8. They don't have to label it. Now that they know people don't want to buy GMO, they just stop labeling it, and they don't have to. So and that's what I said next here. Typically, they will not put the suggested 8 for GMO on produce, nor are they obligated to by law. So you know where I'm heading here. The best thing to do is, for now, they have not allowed GMO. They are trying to allow GMO products under the USDA organic label, but up until now they can't. Legally, it has to be GMO-free, pesticide-free, and it cannot be irradiated. That's the process of putting the food through radiation to kill it, basically, which you don't want that either. You're eating live food to get the live enzymes and the vitamins and minerals and whatnot. So anyway, I have provided here to help get you a kick-started, get you ahead of the game, a non-GMO shopping guide. So that is the link there to a non-GMO shopping guide, and that will help get you started, okay, because I'm very, very much against, because I know, the mental health effects and the neurotoxic and nervous system damaging and endocrine disrupting effects of pesticides. But I'm torn. If it were between GMO and pesticide, I would pick GMO but I won't eat either. But I would pick GMO simply because if it were just once or twice, of course, I would never eat it consistently, because that's where you get into your problems, and that's where it can affect your own DNA. Okay, anything that you eat, you are what you eat, right? Well, GMO produce is a mutated produce, so this is mutating us. These products are mutating the human genome. So anyway. So here's the non-GMO shopping guide that will help get you kick-started into your new shopping experience, and then also 4-digit codes on produce identify product and pricing only. The 4-digit codes, okay? There's 5-digit codes, like when it starts with an 4, 8, or 9. It is, and that tells you if it's organic, GMO, or conventional. But if you only see a 4-digit, then that is for pricing only, and it's typically going to be a hodgepodge of it could be either or a combination of GMO and pesticide sprayed produce. So those 4-digit codes only tell the machine, the cashier, how much to charge you for that particular product and what kind of apple it is. Is it a Fuji or Granny Smith? Just basically how much to charge. It also helps with their inventory. It tells you nothing for your health except not to buy it, because really you only want to be buying the 9s. But we're going to take it one step further a little later in this seminar. I'm going to guide you anyway to how to really ensure that your produce is 100% organic, okay? Because, by the way, the USDA, because, a lot of states such as California and many, many others, and also very, very ethical organic farmers that don't believe in the adulterated organic label that the USDA is now adopted. In fact, a few companies have even refused to put the USDA label because it undermines their product, because their product truly is 100% organic, and they're basically letting the USDA know that they are not in agreement with their standards, and they're diluting and adulterating the label. However, you also need to know, I was under the impression, and I learned as I was putting the series together, I thought that the California Organic Farmers label had higher standards, and I called them and found out that no, in fact, they're entirely in compliance with USDA, and there are many farmers, California farmers, that have the higher ethics of 100% organic. But the USDA will not allow labeling with stricter standards. You cannot promote that your label has stricter standards. So I think that's cheating. I think that the American farmers should have the right to create a 100% ethically 100% organic label, and have people certify, those companies that want to stay 100% and be identified as 100% organic, because that says a lot about their ethics, about where the heart is coming from, where they're coming from. And I like the purists. I like to align with them. I like to spend my money. I like to buy their products. I like to support their economy. And I like to know who they are more easily than, having to make phone calls every time I want to buy something. But you know what? I do that. I do that because it means that much to me. Anyway, back to the slides here. The USDA organic label cannot be trusted. There are now many toxic additives a manufacturer may use, including substances that do not need to appear on ingredient labels and still label it organic, okay? Such as food dyes, okay? Such as there's a little caveat. They say synthetic fertilizers, okay? Well, there's a lot of organic fertilizers that are very toxic to us. So, and those can be used. So I provided a link here so that you can look up what is allowed under the USDA organic label, so that you can choose whether or not you feel in agreement with it. I do not want to buy anything that's adulterated with food coloring. And the way I eat, it's likely that I never will, because, you can't, they're not going to use food coloring on a cucumber. They're not going to use food coloring for, bell peppers, organic bell peppers. But, when you start getting into these organic chips or the processed foods, which I don't eat, then, that's where things can get adulterated, okay? But, I'm providing a link here so you can take a look at it for yourself. Now, the USDA organic label does still leave out, it does not allow for GMO or irradiation, okay? So you're good there. Pesticides, GMOs, and radiation, no. Big no under the USDA organic label. So you're safe there, okay? And that's important. That's very, very important. Now, I've also provided a couple more links here just for further study for those of you who want to know more and more, to get a deeper understanding than I can give you in an hour teleclass. There's Earthwatch here, the sustainability decoding labels, so you can read for yourself about the labeling that I just explained in a high level. And also on Wikipedia, the organic certification, so you can get more familiar with, organic certification, what it is, what it allows for, and the history of it, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's the help guide for organic foods, pesticides, okay, the type of pesticides that are allowed. So you have a little more guidance there, a few very, very good websites to get a further and more detailed understanding of what organic labeling, the USDA organic label means now. So organic food is produced without synthetic pesticides or fertilizers, sewage sludge, genetic engineering, or irradiation. This is good. This is very good. In the case of animal products, it additionally means that the animal received no antibiotics or hormones and was fed organic feed containing no animal byproducts. This is good, okay? So I didn't find, it says antibiotics or hormones. Now, I know that, chickens and, such as, RGBH, the bovine hormone, was, given to animals. Well, actually, that is a hormone, so that would go under that. You would know definitely that your organic milk would not have that stimulant, hormone stimulant in organic milk. So that's good. There are, I have read that that some animals are given stimulants that are not hormones. Now, I don't think that would be allowed under the organic food label. I have not in my research seen it defined as such. So anyway, I doubt it, but I like to be sure before I promote. So anyway, we do know for certain that there are no antibiotics or hormones, and this is important because those antibiotics, well, and of course the hormones too, but the antibiotics are causing huge problems, And when you eat meat and you're getting a low dose, because those antibiotics are transferred in the meat that is produced by those cows and chickens and everything that got the shot. So it's being transferred in the meat that you're eating. So every time, from the child, babies on, they're getting a low dose of antibiotics, which causes immune problems. It can actually desensitize a person to certain antibiotics, so that when they need them, they're not going to have the impact that they should have. And also yeast growth, et cetera. There's a big problem with getting low dosages of antibiotics, so that's very important. And of course, the hormones are very, very important. So that's good to know about organic meats. All right. And I am discussing organic versus 100% organic. Do not look at the USDA food label and think 100% organic. You're in, entirely safe territory. Typically in the produce department, I would think that you are mostly, but we don't know how each different farmer and where these stores are getting, what farms they're using to purchase their organic produce from. So you have to find out yourself. But you're a heck of a lot safer in the organic produce department than you are in the USDA organic chip department or any other processed food. You're far safer because there's many, many products that I gave you the link for in the previous slide that in food processing and like food colorings and whatnot that they can use in those processed foods, and so now you're subjecting yourself to some things that are bad for you. The National List of Approved Substances, here we go. This is the USDA.gov's approved list of substances that can be put in organic food and still call it 100% organic, okay? We have to go down the food chain. Okay, organic food. Here's what I advise people who want to, you're investing. You got this teleclass series because obviously you're looking at investing in your health, your preventive medicine. You're in a healing crisis now. You're going to be using this information to become healthy and then maintain that health. So, I would imagine that after years and years and years of abuse, you want to be as purist as possible. I'm a purist. I don't go halfway. I want to be, and I don't want to give people money that are taking shortcuts that diminishes my health. All these food coloring, this and that, it's not necessary. This stuff is not necessary, yet it causes health issues. But because it makes it nicer to the eye. I mean, you should see, well, we are going to see Food for Humans. We're going to take a look at that together this evening. But, when you see real good whole foods made, you don't have to put food coloring in. This stuff is beautiful. Every plate is a piece of art, and it doesn't take the whole evening to cook. But anyway, I'm getting back to the slide here. Organic food. Here are the points that I provide people to guide them into a total, 100% organic lifestyle when it comes to their diet. Know your farmer. Buy local as much as you can. Of course, it's easy for us here in California. We're very green. We have a lot of organic farmers. We have our own, our organic label as a California Certified Organic Farmers label. We're very savvy, which keeps our farmers, to the even stricter ethics, farming ethics. Not that they wouldn't be anyway, because most of them are on their own that way. So anyway, but it's, buy local. It helps stimulate the local economy. It reduces, all the gas and the CO2 footprint on the process. So it's local. It's coming in from local. We're not, paying for, we're not using up oil to transport produce. Buy from local farmers in your supermarkets. That's another thing. Like when Whole Foods went into Santa Cruz, because Santa Cruz is very anti-franchise. And so, they really had a hard time. They had a hard time, getting friendly with Santa Cruzians. And because we had two very, very good health food stores there, Staff of Life, Staff of Life and New Leaf. So, to try and, be as friendly to the community and show, that they were supporting the community as much as possible, they bought local. They would actually label in the produce department what was purchased locally. It's very important that, you have that option. And if your supermarket is not doing that, then I urge you to petition your local supermarket to buy local. Let's support the local people in your community that are recycling money, and, they earn money from you, and it gets recycled in the community. It doesn't go to some big company that just, into the corporate, biosphere and, right out of the community. And grow your own from organic seeds. I have an organic garden. I thought gardening was for old people. My grandma gardened. Yeah, she actually came from a farm. And I always associated gardening with old people, because every morning there was grandma out in the garden and singing in the sunshine. And when I adopted my holistic, well, I've been this way since 14, but as I grew into myself and had my nice big piece of backyard property in Southern California, it occurred to me, I'm gonna get some seeds. I'm gonna try this out. It became a passion. There is nothing like being connected, working with the earth, being connected like that. I looked forward before I went to work every day, going out and watering my plants and saying hello, and it's really fun. It really, and then of course I love going out to my garden and picking things for my salad in the evenings. It's just there's no better feeling, and you get this sense of ownership of the process, ownership of your diet, and you know exactly what's going on, So you have your options here. You buy local, or buy from local farmers in your supermarket. If your supermarket's not doing that, please petition your supermarket. Get community oriented. Petition them to buy local from local organic farmers, and grow your own grow your own from organic seeds. Something I didn't put here, which I'm going to actually add to before we stamp these CDs and send them out to people. Another thing is that you want to, if you can't, because there's people who live in like Buffalo, New York. It's freezing. And how often? There's not a whole lot growing for a whole lot of the months. There's not going to be a lot of variety, and you want variety. There are many, many organic produce suppliers that will ship to you. Okay. So what you do is you type in your zip code, and organic produce and, look, try and get as close as possible. But you do have that option. You can get, like my grandma had that Fruit of the Month Club thing. But you can actually get everything. You can have a standardized order, or add to it or subtract to it weekly as you wish, from other dishes that you may be wanting to make. But bottom line is that you can order a weekly supply, or even bi-weekly. But weekly would be best if you can manage yourself that way, of organic produce, and it'll be shipped to your door, and they know how to ship it so that it arrives fresh, and so you're taken care of. You're not completely reliant on, if you live in snow 6 months of the year, you're not completely reliant on pesticide produce, because you really need to get away from that. They are neurotoxic, no good for you. The soil that they're grown in is missing 80 to 90% of the minerals, and that means that the food is missing the minerals. So that's another avenue that you can take to get organic produce. And sometimes people save a lot of money actually getting it shipped directly to them. So look into it. Please look into it. The difference between organic and natural now. Wow, this is... I tell you, I even read, I just don't buy natural because it's not organic, okay? But I have to educate my public, and so I have to, do the research and educate myself. And, wow, I sat there for an hour and looked at, there's just so many different ideas of what natural is, and because there's no certification and there's no standards, nobody really knows. All it is that I know to tell you is that it's not organic, okay, and it's minimally processed, okay. That's the two best ways to describe natural, but that could be minimally processed pesticide foods, such as, like apples, and let's say a bag of dried apples, all right, and it says natural, right? A lot of people misinterpret that as organic, and it's not organic. If it does not say USDA organic, it is not organic. And it can be GMO, it can be because GMO is not processed. The thinking is that, okay, this is a GMO seed, it goes in the ground, it makes a GMO product, but after that product is picked and as soon as it comes into a human hand, if it's minimally processed, it can be labeled natural. So, in short, an organic ingredient is a natural ingredient, but a natural ingredient may not be organic, since it could have been derived from methods that were not certified organic. So I think that's pretty clear. A natural product can be organic, because of course organic is natural, but if it's not labeled USDA organic, then it's not organic, okay? And so a natural product can be a pesticide or GMO product, because it was just minimally processed, all right? Natural, it often is misrepresented in product labeling to imply healthful, but natural only means that the product has undergone minimal processing, unlike products that are certified organic. Natural products have no certification or inspection system. Also, natural does not necessarily relate to growing methods or the use of preservatives. So there you go. Preservatives, such as, and what's a preservative? MSG. There's, you're opening yourself up. I do not buy natural. I do not encourage people to buy natural. In fact, I ask them not to buy natural. You don't know what you're getting, and you want to know, if nothing else in your life, you want to know what you're putting in your mouth. So the 1, 2, 3 of organic labeling. 100% organic label. This is for products composed entirely of certified organic ingredients. Now remember, 100% organic, still there's that list that you can go through, such as food colorings, organic pesticides, etc., that are allowed under that label. But that's what the USDA 100% organic label means. This is for products composed entirely of certified organic ingredients. Now, if it just simply says organic, this is for products with at least 95% certified organic ingredients, okay? So that means that there's 5% out there that is iffy, all right? And then made with organic ingredients label, this is for products with at least 70% certified organic ingredients. So, each day, as you step down here, you're opening yourself up to more and more and more health risks because you don't know what you're getting. They don't have to put it on the label, and they're charging you more. Why pay more? I wouldn't buy something that's 70% organic. Well, actually, you know what? There's one thing. I think it's 75%. That's the Ticino, and that I do suggest people getting off coffee use, and it's delicious. I use it occasionally. It's the only thing that I can tell you that I know of that I would ever purchase, and also because you can't get in much trouble with barley. So the barley is organic, and that's what matters. So anyway, that's the only thing, and I don't use it a lot, by the way. I don't use it every day. So that's the 1, 2, 3 on organic labels. Now, fish and meat. Wow, here's another huge subject. You want, of course, organic fish and meat. Organic, I explained to you, has no antibiotics, no hormones. The feed for the animal has to be organic. Now, I mean, and this is not always good. See, here in California, there's a lot of stores carry the New Zealand grass-fed eggs, and those are the ones that I bought. Unless I could find, a local farmer that just had chickens running around, eating grass and bugs, which is what they're supposed to eat, not grain, eating grass and bugs. Because, well, anyway, either the New Zealand grass-fed eggs, or go find a local farmer that is just, has chickens running around, or even, is producing, is selling eggs. A lot of people do this, selling eggs that are actually truly, truly natural, with the chickens just running around eating grass and bugs. I tell you what, I showed first my daughter years ago, and now I do it with the patients at the clinic. But we open up even an organic egg. Organic, and you have to be careful with the organic standards of eggs. Boy, is that an industry that's trying to cut corners. But the organic egg, even an organic produced egg where the chicken is eating grain, right? I opened that one up and take a look at the yolk, and it looks, of course, much, much better, much oranger, much better, richer in oils than in DHA and all the good stuff than a conventional product, of course, which you wouldn't want to touch a conventional egg. I will not touch them. And then I opened up a grass-fed egg, and I'm telling you, the difference is out of this world. The rich, just beautiful, deep, deep, bright orange. And that's your good oils. That's all the good stuff in there. And it's visual. You can see the difference. So now, if you don't have a local farmer where you can go and say, hey, can I get a dozen eggs or 2 dozen eggs a week, and that can sell to you direct, then please look for the New Zealand grass-fed. And always when it comes to animals, cows, there's grass-fed beef, chickens. Any time you're buying meat, try and get their true diet was grass and bugs, not grain. Grain is a filler food. It also bloats them up like it bloats people up. All right? There's not near the amount of nutrients such as chlorophyll from the grass and such that really feeds, rich nutrients and minerals into that animal. So you want to go for grass-fed land animals, all right? This whole idea of feeding animals grain is just to bloat them up and make it easy for them, but not healthy for you, for sure. So, and definitely you want organic. And when it comes to fish, you want wild, sustainably caught. Now, there is a darling child. Very few things, right now do I endorse products. And by the way, again, I do not, as with the water seminar last Tuesday, I do not get any kickbacks whatsoever from the products that I endorse. My endorsements are based purely on research and my knowledge base and what I consider the very, very best for people, okay? There is a darling child in the fish industry, and that darling child is called VitalChoice.com. It's Vital, VITAL choice.com. These guys, I met these guys. I'll never forget the day I met these guys. I met them at a health convention in Los Angeles, and I saw these from afar, I saw these big, burly guys in aprons, and of course I had to go check that out, right? So, so I walk over there, and they're filleting fish, and they're cooking fish in all this different way, and they're talking very passionately about fish. And these are big, burly guys. Well, I come to find out they're some of the fishermen from Vital Choice, and I'm telling you, these guys knew their fish. They knew the benefits of omega-3s. They were health nuts, and they're big burly fishermen, and they knew how to cook too. And this fish was delicious. I mean, absolutely delicious. Well, guess what? Vital Choice is a sustainable fishing company in Alaska, and these guys, I've never met people more passionate about and more proud about what they do. And they catch sustainably. And they line catch, which is very ethical, and also a very unique feature. And this is something I didn't know about until I talked to them. Is that, and I mean, I'd seen the documentaries before, but and you know, the documentaries where people, you know, these big liners go out there and they catch fish in the net and they just, you know, pour everything on this bed of ice, right? Well, you know, these fishing boats, they go out for 2, 3, 4 days at a time, right? And, you know, it's great if you are, you know, if your fish that you got was on the first layer of that ice and could really get the cold of that ice. But, you know, when you get in layer 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, 30, that's where you start getting that fishy flavor, not just that maybe it's not caught in the best of waters, but, you know, you start getting that rancid oil taste, and that's that fishy taste that turns a lot of people off to fish. This fish is absolutely delicious, and you can get it sent to you no matter where you are in the United States. They send it in dry ice. And oh, by the way, they use a flash freezer. So, man, it's caught, it goes in a flash freezer, and when you defrost it, that's the first time it's been defrosted. From the minute it was caught, you are getting fresh fish. It's just, their fish is out of this world. You don't have to use a ton of seasonings because it doesn't have that fishy flavor. It's just delicious. And me being an ovo-pescatarian, I'm very selective about my fish, and I wouldn't recommend. They're my favorite company. So you do not, of course, and you know, wild, sustainably caught fish, and you do not want to purchase fish from fish farms, ever. Boy, the stories that I could tell you, you know, they feed, you know, various farms feed them different things, but, you know, soy, they feed fish soy, all right? Their pathetic diet, they're not eating the algae and, you know, getting all the minerals and such that they should from the natural environment. So, you know, you're not getting the whole benefit of fish is, of course, the omega-3s and the minerals from being, you know, deep in the ocean and in a cleaner atmosphere than the poor, you know, atmosphere that we're suffering here on land. Not that the ocean and parts of it are in any better shape, but you do, you know, I mean, in fact, the fish from farms, such as salmon, they did a focus group because it doesn't have that deep pink reddish look that it's supposed to have. And people weren't buying it, so you know, so they did this focus group I read about where they put, you know, regular salmon, good, sustainably, you know, good salmon, wild caught salmon, which has pink, deep red look to it, look and feel, next to this pale looking, you know, yellowish pinkish pale looking salmon, and people would buy the red salmon over the pale one, even though it was more expensive. And so, and they simply weren't buying that pale, snotty looking stuff. So anyway, then what they did was guess what? They started using food coloring in farmed salmon. And not only I forget now the article that I read, but the part of the fish that actually makes the reddish look is actually very, very good for you. I forget now the details about this. Anybody who's interested could look it up. And so not only are you not getting that in the omega-3s and all the other good mineral, you know, deep mineral content and all the other good things about eating regular real fish, But you're also getting these additives and soy byproducts and whatever else that they're feeding them. But it's not right. It's not natural. So anyway, I do not endorse eating fish from farms. You're not getting what you went there for. People eat fish today for health reasons, and you're just not getting it. And of course, I discussed the grass-fed aspect that you want to look for. And I hate to do this to the people of the Gulf, but I have to. I'm a health. My priority is providing health advice, and I am not advising that you eat from the Gulf because I had a clinic for 2 years in Costa Rica. We did test. We did test on fish because we were feeding my patients at the clinic fish. So when the Gulf spill happened, of course I had to start testing again, and the news wasn't good. I took fish off the menu. People were paying very, very high prices because I couldn't ship Vital Choice in, so I actually had to take fish off the menu. And, of course, that people really miss it. But you know what? If it's not healthy, I can't do it. And if I don't trust it, I can't do it. And I simply don't trust it. A lot of hype, a lot of, science, sales science, a lot of people have been bought to promote it again and this and that. But, just think about it. You don't need the lab work that I did. Think about it. I mean, it was just destroyed. And it's sad. I hate to do that to the fishermen, but I didn't do it. VP did it. I didn't do it. I'm just reporting on what I know to be the truth, and the fish, was not looking good. I had to take it off the menu. So anyway, there's some fact sheets on meat and poultry here and labeling terms regarding meat. Okay, so that's a link that you can go for further exploration. Okay, now, this is a topic that I like to go over a couple of times. I think I did it at the very beginning of this series, but we got to go through it again because we're talking about shifting to an organic diet, all right? People ask me regularly, but isn't it more expensive? Well, for one, myself, of course, my ethics, what I put value in is my health. My health determines my quality of life for the rest of my life. My health, how I treat my body determines that. It determines how long I get to live, and so many years. I got grandkids coming down the pipe. I'm 51. I'm going into my older years. I'm going to spend a lot more time being old than young. I want to preserve my health during that time. There's just no excuse for not treating your body optimally every chance you get. And so, I tell people, well, for one, the organic food lifestyle does not cost more, and I'll demonstrate why, all right? But even if it did, let's say it cost 10% more, all right? Because people tell me I can't spend another dime on food each week, not another dime. I have a budget, and that's it. Well, let's say it did, but it doesn't. Let's say it costs 10% more. Well, you know what? There's nobody I know that couldn't afford to eat 10% less. Okay, I'm in shape, but I know I could, and I'd still be fine. Everybody I know, all of us, healthy and not, can all afford to eat 10% less, and there you go. So there goes that argument right there. But you don't have to do that. It's probably good that you do. If you're eating too much, if you are, have weight on you that doesn't belong there, obviously it's good that you do. Although I do not promote dieting at all, because when you eat only the foods that were meant for consumption in the human body, your weight will naturally go down to where it's supposed to be. The body is a very, very wise, elegant protein machine, and it will take care of itself given the opportunity and the right tools. But there's a couple of aspects about eating the incorrect diet that causes false hunger. So you're going to eat more. See, people on a conventional diet, they actually eat more than people like myself who eat all organic whole foods. They eat more because they experience false hunger, and this is the reason for this is there's a syndrome called Syndrome X. It's insulin resistance, okay? And most people the lion's share of people on processed food diets of any kind. I mean, you got your bagel going in the morning and your coffee and the sugar in your coffee and this and that. over years, years of insulin spikes, this and that, over time creates insulin resistance, and there's also a sign of when the weight starts getting put on. Well, what happens with insulin resistance is that the insulin, it's just that, it's insulin resistant. So the insulin cannot carry glucose over into the cells, okay? Glucose is the energy that the brain is looking for. When your brain is sends out the hunger alarms, what it's really saying is, hey, I'm going low. I'm going low on energy. I'm here to keep you alive. I go down, you go down. Go eat. Okay, so the brain sends out signals for you to eat, those hunger signals for you to eat. Well, you start eating, right? And by the way, this is usually for people on on the blood sugar roller coaster, with insulin resistance. What happens is you start eating, all right, and you just keep eating and eating and eating more than you have to, and more than you should. And the reason for this is because you have insulin resistance, syndrome X. The insulin cannot get the glucose, that sugar, in the energy into the cell and shut those alarms off in your brain. So you're eating more than you should. You're eating more often because of false hunger and blood sugar issues, and you're eating more than you should. So right there, once your blood sugar stabilizes and once you, turn around the insulin resistance, which you can do, you ate your way into it, you can eat your way out. You can do it. It doesn't take long. In fact, it doesn't take more than a week or two of the right diet. Your blood sugar will stabilize, and this stuff goes away, and so does the false hunger, all right? So you're eating less naturally, all right? Once your blood sugar stabilizes and it just continues, food does not become such an issue anymore because you're not hungry all the time. Also, people do not take into account, because all they do is they look at, okay, a conventional cucumber and an organic cucumber. Oh, the organic cucumber is 10 or 20 cents more, okay? Well, people that are not eating healthfully do other things that are not very healthy. They drink Cokes. They drink excess coffee. 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups of Starbucks coffee, we're talking about $10, but they will complain about organic food prices, okay? So anyway, but even if you're the person that can't afford Starbucks, you have your coffee at home before you go to work, or then what you do is you'll also be having Cokes. They don't include all those little things and munchies that they buy throughout the day, the donuts, the chips, the bagels, the cream cheese, the things that they buy outside the house. Okay. The things that you normally wouldn't eat. When you eat organic, you are making your lunch at home for work or school. You're eating breakfast at home in the morning, and you are eating typically, unless you have an organic restaurant around, you're typically eating at home in the evening. This is far less expensive than those restaurants you're going to, okay? And you certainly don't want to eat at McDonald's. So anyway, no more Cokes, chips, processed foods, excess coffees. All that stuff goes away because you are taking care of yourself. So you're saving there, okay? And I already mentioned that everyone I know, healthy or not, could eat 10% less. It's just a fact. It's a fact. We eat too much, okay? And so there you have it. It is actually cheaper. When I was working and going to school and in exams and whatnot, for myself and my daughter, I spent no more than $60 a week on food, and we ate organic and we ate well. I bought organic chicken for her and red meat, once or twice a week, and I'm ovo-pescatarian. I had my fish from Vital Choice, and we made it work at organic for $60 a week. So there's just no excuse. And I know I didn't buy Cokes. I didn't buy chips. That was my food budget. That $60 was my food budget. So you have to look at all the other little things out there that you're purchasing and what's really getting at the pocketbook. And by the way, though, again, I don't care. I would drive a Volkswagen, rather than a Lexus or anything else. I would downsize in other areas of my life so that I could eat right, because this is my health. This is my quality of life. This is how long I get to live. I would make other sacrifices. I'd live, in a cheaper place. I wouldn't, I pay less rent so I could afford the right food. You know, you have to create your priorities from your core values. My core value. Write down your core values and identify them, and then live your life by them. My core value is my food. First, what I eat. Then, you know, what car I drive, where I live, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what you got to do. And I hope you're here and purchase this teleseminar because you're going to make your health your core value. All right. Moving on, why unfermented soy is so bad for you, and it is. It is an excitotoxin. In fact, I like to tell people that the only good thing about soy is the marketing team. I wish I had this marketing team. They turned a bean sludge in Asia into the rich man's protein in the United States. You pay about what you pay for ground beef for tofu today. It's crazy. Seriously, the only good thing about soy is the marketing team. It's an excitotoxin, which means it damages the nervous system, overstimulates, kills brain cells, et cetera, overstimulates the sympathetic nervous system. It's a trypsin inhibitor. Trypsin is the protein enzyme, the enzyme that breaks down protein. Now, this is really a kick in the pants, and I'm not, you know, happy about this. But it is a kick in the pants for the vegetarians that use soy as a very expensive protein substitute. Because it actually being a trypsin inhibitor, trypsin being the enzyme that breaks down protein, it inhibits the breakdown of protein. So the protein that is in the tofu, it's likely that not a whole lot of it is getting broken down and actually brought into the system as protein, amino acids. So that's a problem. It's not a good protein substitute. It's got soy estrogens in it. Please, anybody who knows anybody out there that's feeding their baby soy formulas, please have them look up Sally Fallon on soy. Have them look up, what's the dentist's name? I forget now. I'm sorry. But anyway, you need to look up the dangers of soy estrogens. You know, very young children on these soy formulas, growing breasts. It's just not good. A baby should be on mother's milk and nothing else until it's time to convert the diet. But definitely not soy. Definitely not soy. Mineral deficiencies, the phytates and oxalates, actually, soybeans are high in phytic acid, which is a substance that can block the uptake of essential minerals. And it does. Calcium, magnesium, copper, iron, especially zinc in the intestinal tract. This is not good for people with mental health issues. Zinc is required for for the production of each and every neurotransmitter and hormone in the body. Okay, so that's not good. Magnesium, anything. Okay, by the way, if you're eating conventional food, you're not getting your minerals. If you're drinking distilled or reverse osmosis water, you're not getting your minerals. I mean, the list goes, you're not getting your minerals, people. So now, if you're eating, tofu, these soy products, unfermented soy products, you are actually now eating a product that can cause mineral deficiencies. This is not good news, all right? You should not, and you should not be doing this, okay? There's pyroluria is a condition, low B6 and zinc, and it is very common amongst alcohol-addicted people, and as well as people with, mental health issues. You don't want anything that's robbing your body of minerals, all right, people? So do not consider unfermented soy in your diet. People who consume the most soybean products have the highest incidence of dementia and brain atrophy. Lovely, okay? What's the message? Don't eat unfermented soy. So this would be tofu, soy milk, edamame beans, the beans themselves, soy isolates, hydrolyzed soy protein, etc. There's this urban legend out there that soy was, the staple of the Asian countries, et cetera, et cetera. It's got to be good. Look at, they're all thin and, healthy. Well, no. When you look up the history of the soybean, what you will find is it was used prolifically, yes, as to nitrogenate soil in between crops. That's what it was used for, okay? It was not used as, they did not boil it down, make a tofu patty. In fact, it's considered the poor man's protein. All the Asians that lived along the water there and had fish, an abundance of fish and this and that, boy, and could afford it, they got fish. It was considered the poor man's protein. And in fact, the Asians, they did not start using soy products until the science of fermenting soy came in to the picture, and that's when it wasn't tofu that they were eating. It wasn't unfermented. They would not eat unfermented soy products, or if they did, it was for the poor man's protein, so they had a filler in their gut. Okay, but the fermented soy products, when the art science of fermenting soy came into the picture, that's when they started consuming it in large quantities because it is good for you. That would be miso, tempeh, and natto. All right, those three are very good for you. There's also, for those of you that are veggie and want to say that way, there's an unfermented soy protein powder, but because of the phytoestrogens, except for a very short period of time, I do use at my clinic, I use unfermented soy powder for the first 2 months during the detox phase and because the estrogens are actually good for preserving serotonin. So during a detoxification, while we're balancing the neuroendocrine system and getting it functioning well again and healing it, I do use it for that purpose for that period of time. And then I convert people over to an organic whey protein. But so there is an unfermented soy protein out there that I suggest, but for the initial detox. But I don't suggest staying on it because it's just too many phytoestrogens in there. You can use it while you're getting healthy and healing your neuroendocrine system and getting your serotonin up to where it's supposed to be. But then I suggest migrating off of it into a superior protein product such as organic whey product from organic animals, of course. So, but the good for you soy products are the fermented soy products, and that is miso, tempeh, and natto. Now, MSG. How could I talk about food without talking about MSG? MSG, you please need to go to this link and research MSG, monosodium glutamate. It is very closely, of course, linked, to which is why they used to have to put it on the label, and it's such a big deal. But to nervous system disorders, to brain, to cancers. It's an excitotoxin. It's a neurotoxin. It's a very potent neurotoxin. It kills brain cells. It's an excitotoxin. Overstimulates the glutamate channel and burns cells out. It's overstimulated, just fires itself to death. And there's anything hydrolyzed. Hydrolyzed protein is monosodium glutamate. They keep creating different names for it and getting approval to put it on labels. So you never know that it's monosodium glutamate, MSG. This is why, it is a science. When you're eating out of God's kitchen, right out of the ground, organic, food is not a science. But yeah, definitely if you are eating anything in a box that's processed, then absolutely it's a science. Boy, do you got to know what you're picking up off that shelf. And by the way, they don't have to put everything on the label, people. So you still don't know. I don't eat the stuff. If I don't know what it is, I don't want to put something in my body I don't know what it is. It just doesn't make sense. This is my body. They don't care about you. They care about making a buck. They don't know you. They don't care about you. They don't care about your children. So anyway, but I needed to offer up this website so that you can take a look at all the many different names that MSG now goes under on labels, okay? So I want to take a quick look at the Food for Humans recipe book, but you know what? We're kind of running out of time. I only have 5 more minutes. Let me finish up over the slides, and then I'll see if I have some time to do that. If not, I encourage you, please open up that book. You bought it. Open it up. Get familiar with it. Start from the beginning. Read it to the recipe section so you know how to stock your kitchen, how to get the staples in there. It's very simple, very straightforward, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do these 2 other slides before I go there. Maybe I'll have a few minutes, to bring you through the book. If I don't in tonight's module, you know what? It's it's important enough. I will fit this topic, the book itself, the recipe book itself, in another module coming up in the series. We've got 4 more to go, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, 4 more to go. So I can fit it in there somewhere. But anyway, best food choices, whole living foods, all right? At least 51% raw, no more than 80%. I'm not a big, totally, 100% raw food advocate. I don't advocate that at all. I'm a nutritional biochemist, and there have been studies, clinical studies, doing blood tests before and after, nutritional, vitamin and mineral nutritional levels before and after 4 ounces, for instance, 4 ounces of steamed spinach and 4 ounces of raw spinach. The people were taking on average over 40% more vitamins and minerals from the steamed spinach. Why? Because steaming starts the digestive process. And by the way, folks, with all this processed foods and all these, not real foods and that we, the real foods that we don't eat and the processed foods that we do eat, our digestive fortitude sucks if you're eating, conventional foods. So it's good, but you also, see, the thing is, you need raw food to make sure you're getting all the enzymes in. You need enzymes to break foods down efficiently to get, to help get them absorbed into the system, also for the fiber, but you need those live enzymes. You need live food. So, I don't like going 100% one way or another. Now, you'll hear lots of people say, oh, yeah, I cured myself, from cancer using raw food diet. Well, I don't think it was so much the raw food that, because they could have been getting more nutrients doing a 51-50, or a 51-49, or anywhere 51 to 80%. But you need some, some steamed food in there. It also helps with variety because you can throw, some olive oil on there and lemon, make it really good, like with broccoli. But you can do this 51 to 80%, but you don't want it all to be raw because then you're not getting the nutrients. Oh, and about the cancer patients, they, it's not so much the raw food, but what they gave up, because, when you go raw, you're not eating, all those processed foods, all the MSGs, the carcinogens in foods, the many, many neurotoxins, and the many, many carcinogens in bad foods, and junking up your systems with dairy and all this stuff. You're not doing that. So I think it was more about what they were eliminating. And, of course, just going to raw foods, you're only going to be getting nutrients, not as much as you could get, having some steamed veggies in there. But, so, I'm talking about balance here. I like to go, instead of going extreme one way, some balance. And also where you have balance, you have more variety, right? So I recommend at least 51% raw. No more than 80%. You don't have to make it this science either, oh no, I had 90% raw. No, I'm just saying I don't advocate 100% raw diet, okay? And I do advocate, having some cooked dishes and having some steamed dishes. You want to enjoy yourself. You want to be happy with your choices and enjoy and feel satiated, and moderation is a way of doing that. Minimum dairy, and of course on the detox, the initial 2 months on the Green Body and Mind detox, you do not have any. But when you go back, minimum dairy, it's an inefficient food. I don't advocate it much. I don't have it that often myself. Minimum organic meat. Let's have some moderation and some respect and some reverence. We are eating animal when we are, when we go in that direction, and I just don't see people eating animal with the reverence that I would like to see them eating it. But definitely I, support the paleo diet. Our systems can handle it, but I think that a minimum is better for the planet because it costs a lot to raise those animals, to grow the feed, to raise them, and then ship them around. And it's, when you eat too much, it's no good for you either. And make sure it's organic. The GLD juice diet is something that I actually like to do once in a while when I want to tune up. The Great Liquid Diet. It's I'll share the link for that maybe in a new one. If you Google the Great Liquid Diet, juice diet, you'll find it, and it's great. It's great. You can just do it for a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks. You don't have to do it for a whole lot of time. And then fasting for 3 days afterwards is highly recommended. This will keep your body in shape and going and clear throughout the year, okay? because you know that there's going to be those times here and there where you're going to, dive into that organic ice cream or, in moderation. But it's always good to clean out a couple times a year so moderation doesn't hurt you, okay? So, I was going to do Green Your Kitchen this evening, but I don't have time, really. I'm just going to go down it real fast, and then we're going to have to go into the question section. And, of course, we are going to go much deeper into this. And, by the way, this is right out of the book, Food for Humans, and we're going to go deeper into this on the last module when Deborah Lynn Gadd, I get to introduce her and the Green Living as our Green Living consultant, and she'll be hitting on topics as well. So anyway, excellent website for researching non-toxic home and lawn care products. Oh, and here she is. I did get this in. Deborah Lynn Gadd's website is right here. Deborah on toxicproducts.com, the Queen of Green. Please, please, please go check it out. This woman knows her stuff. So here's a list of these. This is, again, a broad stroke here, okay? High-level broad stroke, and Deborah can go much deeper, and it will be happy to with you if you want to call her and get in, set up some consultations. American Craft Kitchenware, cookwares, titanium. I go one step above stainless steel. I go titanium. That stuff is excellent. It's even denser than stainless steel. Less gets in you. This is the stuff that the doctors use when they wire you together after an accident or something, when your kneecaps go out or whatnot. Titanium. Stainless steel cutlery, soup spoons, just go stainless steel. Get all the plastic out of there. Vitamix, high performance blender. It is BPA free, okay? It's BPA and phthalate free. There is the phthalate and BPA free models, so make sure you get in that one. Pyrex kitchen storage and cookware is non-toxic and is green. Glass measuring cups, stainless steel measuring spoons, set of good knives, bamboo non-shellac or stained cutting boards. You also want to know how to treat your cutting boards. Do not use soap on them. Bamboo steamer, stainless steel salad spinner, wooden spoons for salads, etc., stainless steel spatulas, stainless steel food dehydrator, optional, or build one for sun drying. Very fun. I like doing that. And a stainless steel juicer. Do not use a plastic juicer. That stuff, spins fast. It's live with enzymes coming out as a liquid. It's going to just soak up, just react with, those phthalates and plastics in that juicer. So get a stainless steel juicer, okay? And there are, this is the Angel 3500. That's a big one. There are stainless steel juicers that you can get for personal use. This is the one that I have at the clinic, but you can get the personal use one. And I think I'm just about finished here. Folks, I will go back to the Food for Humans book. I will find some space later on in the teleseries. We just didn't have enough time, and I want to make sure we hit all the other points because you have the cookbook. You have I like calling it cookbook, food preparation book. So you got all the instruction there, but I just want to walk you through it to introduce you to it and even, give people, some opportunity as I'm live here at the teleseminar series to answer any questions about the book. But so I will fit that in. Right now I'm going to hand this over to Rachel for questions.